The world of international cinema has always been driven by an underlying, unspoken tension between the curated perfection of the silver screen and the unpredictable, deeply human reality of the individuals who occupy that rarefied space. For many decades, global film festivals have served as the ultimate proving ground for this collision, transforming picturesque coastal towns and historic European cities into high-stakes arenas of glamour, high art, and relentless public scrutiny. In these meticulously designed spaces, the elite of Hollywood and world cinema gather under the flashing lights of 1,000 cameras, where every single movement, glance, and step is captured, archived, and immediately dissected by millions of onlookers across the globe. It is an environment where a simple gesture, a fleeting facial expression, or a momentary pause on a grand stage can instantly transcend its immediate context and become a subject of intense international debate and speculation. The modern digital landscape has only amplified this phenomenon, turning ordinary audiences into hyper-analytical digital detectives who analyze high-definition footage frame by frame, searching for hidden meanings, unspoken conflicts, and raw human emotion beneath the highly polished surface of contemporary celebrity culture. When an iconic figure steps onto these historic stages, they carry not only the weight of their artistic achievements, but also the collective expectations and projections of a hyper-connected global public that demands total access to their inner lives, turning even the most mundane interactions into global news stories. Among the select few who have navigated this intense spotlight with a fiercely independent spirit is a celebrated actress whose professional journey has consistently defied conventio, now Hollywood expectations and traditional trajectories. From her early days as the reluctant face of a massive global blockbuster franchise that redefined pop culture to her subsequent evolution into an acclaimed, fearless darling of independent international cinema, she has consistently chosen raw authenticity over safe public relations conformity. This unique and uncompromising approach to fame has often manifested in a public persona that feels remarkably raw, unpredictable, and unfiltered, a rare and captivating quality in an entertainment industry that heavily prioritizes tightly managed, artificial public images. Whether she is walking a prestigious red carpet entirely barefoot in defiance of ancient dress codes, expressing her genuine frustrations with the constraints of traditional media protocol, or delivering deeply immersive, award-winning performances that garner critical acclaim at major European events, she remains an enigma who commands absolute attention wherever she goes. Her deep connection to the cultural landscapes of Europe, particularly the historic cities of England and France, has always run deep and carried a unique weight, often evoking a profound emotional response within her that she has openly shared with the public over the years. This emotional intensity, combined with a reputation for fiercely guarding her personal boundaries and resisting the expectations of others, has created a fascinating, ongoing dynamic between the artist and her global audience, making her one of the most compelling, heavily discussed, and intensely protected figures in contemporary media today. Recent weeks had already seen her making major headlines for defying traditional expectations at a prominent cinematic gathering, reminding the world that she refuses to perform according to a pre-written script when facing the public eye, setting a tone of anticipation for her subsequent appearances. It was against this exact backdrop of heightened public interest and anticipations that a prestigious new gathering unfolded on the scenic, sun-drenched shores of France, drawing the global film community together once again to celebrate the enduring power of international cinema. For this particular high-profile occasion, the acclaimed actress had been elevated to a position of immense cultural authority and respect, serving as the official president of the festival's prestigious jury, a demanding role that placed her at the very center of the event's formal proceedings and nightly galas. The atmosphere within the grand European venue was charged with the distinct electric energy of a premier film festival, where the lively murmur of international crowds, the blinding glare of stage lighting, and the ambient noise of a bustling auditorium created a heavy sense of sensory overload. As she stepped onto the grand stage to fulfill her official responsibilities in front of peers and critics alike, the cameras were naturally fixed upon her every move, ready to document every second of her appearance for an eager audience watching worldwide. However, what was originally intended to be a standard, highly formalized moment of cinematic celebration quickly took an unexpected and dramatic turn during an on-stage presentation, capturing a fleeting interaction that would almost immediately ignite a massive firestorm of speculation and debate across global social media platforms. A sudden movement from the periphery, an unexpected approach from behind, and a highly visible shift in her physical posture created a moment of palpable onstage tension that left the audience in the hall and viewers watching online wondering exactly what was transpiring in front of the world's lenses. As the fan-taken video of this specific encounter began to circulate rapidly through the digital sphere, gaining millions of views within a matter of hours, it quickly transformed into a deeply polarizing flashpoint that divided millions of fans and cultural commentators into two distinct, fiercely argumentative camps. Before we dive deeper into the hidden details of this viral incident, the conflicting interpretations that have emerged from the footage, and the fascinating backstory of the actress's life, emotional journeys, and upcoming creative partnerships that contextualize this moment. Please take a brief second to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our in-depth explorations of the most compelling stories shaping the world of entertainment. The unfolding drama surrounding this specific onstage moment highlights a much larger, ongoing conversation about the invisible boundaries of personal space, the intense pressures of international public life, and the chaotic realities of navigating high-profile global events where communication can easily break down amid ambient noise. In the chapters ahead, we will meticulously unpack the exact sequence of events that occurred on that French stage, explore the passionate defenses and counter-arguments mounted by onlookers worldwide, and look closely at the complex emotional world of a Hollywood icon navigating an incident that has captured the attention of over 2 million people, setting the stage for a deeper look into what really happened when the cameras were rolling. The unexpected incident unfolded under the bright, unforgiving lights of the Biarritz Film Festival, a prestigious French event where the actress was currently serving in the highly revered role of jury president. In the specific video clip that rapidly began accumulating millions of views across global networks, the 36-year-old Hollywood veteran was positioned near the center of the grand stage, addressing the gathered audience and fulfilling her official festival duties. Without warning, a man stepped forward from the background, crossing the invisible boundary of the performance space and approaching her directly from behind to speak with her. Sensing a presence, she turned around abruptly to face the individual who had suddenly materialized within her immediate physical proximity, creating an instantaneous, visible shift in the overall atmosphere of the presentation. As the man began to speak directly to her, her physical posture altered significantly, catching the immediate attention of hyper-observant fans who were recording the entire sequence of events from the audience. She stepped back deliberately, creating a small amount of physical distance between herself and the approaching individual, before choosing to take a seated position on the edge of the elevated platform situated directly behind her. Sitting down on the structure, she crossed her legs and maintained a deeply focused, intently listening facial expression while the man continued to communicate with her in close proximity. This highly specific sequence of physical movements, captured in a matter of seconds by a fan-taken camera, served as the exact spark that ignited a massive wave of online debate, with viewers dissecting every single frame for clues about her emotional state. Almost immediately after the footage was uploaded to social media platforms, a massive digital divide emerged among millions of onlookers, centered entirely around the interpretation of her body language and facial expressions during those few seconds. One major faction of the online audience immediately rushed to her defense, asserting that the actress looked visibly uncomfortable and was clearly reacting to a direct invasion of her personal space. Social media users across platforms like X began sharing the clip widely, with many expressing deep frustration over what they perceived as a systemic lack of boundaries and a failure to respect an individual's physical comfort zone. A prominent post on X, which was originally written in Spanish and translated as noting her uncomfortable expression with the man's closeness, quickly became the primary lightning rod for the controversy, garnering well over 2 million views in a remarkably short period. Commenters under the viral post strongly echoed these sentiments, with one user explicitly stating that there are simply some people who do not understand what personal space means in a public setting. Another observer added a thoughtful, highly analytical perspective to the ongoing conversation, pointing out that discomfort almost always manifests itself first on a person's face rather than through their spoken words or outward verbal complaints. For this passionate group of supporters, the video was a clear and unambiguous demonstration of a high-profile woman having to navigate an awkward, intrusive, an entirely unwelcome physical interaction while stranded on a public stage under the gaze of an international audience. However, as the viral clip continued to dominate global entertainment feeds, an equally vocal and deeply analytical counter-narrative began to form among fans who viewed the entire interaction through a completely different, much more practical lens. This second group of observers strongly defended the encounter as a completely innocent, standard professional interaction, pointing out crucial contextual details that they believed completely debunked the narrative of discomfort and hostility. Multiple social media users noted that the individual approaching her was actually an official translator or interpreter, whose specific job requirement at an international event necessitated stepping closer to communicate effectively. Supporters of this theory emphasized that she put on a face of absolute attention and professional focus rather than one of genuine distress, arguing that her decision to sit down was a practical choice to listen more closely rather than an act of retreat. They pointed out that international film festivals are notoriously loud, chaotic environments filled with massive amounts of ambient noise, shouting photographers, and echoing acoustic systems that make standard onstage communication nearly impossible. From this practical viewpoint, the interpreter merely leaned in to whisper a crucial piece of administrative information or a direct translation directly into her ear so she could understand what was happening. One fan explicitly summarized this perspective by stating that it was not an issue of inappropriate closeness at all, but rather a direct response to a loud environment where he approached and whispered something in her ear, causing her to sit down to hear him properly. As the debate raged on without any official resolution, some analytical viewers began pushing the observation even further, suggesting that her apparent tension might have been completely unrelated to the translator's physical presence on the stage. A number of social media users argued that she already possessed a noticeably frustrated or annoyed expression on her face well before the man ever stepped into her immediate personal space. According to these eagle-eyed digital detectives, the first few seconds of the video clip clearly indicated that she was experiencing some sort of technical or logistical difficulty during the presentation. Specifically, observers alleged that the event organizers or stage managers were seemingly not letting her speak into the microphone properly, or that the audio equipment was malfunctioning when she attempted to use it. This perspective suggested that her visible irritation was directed entirely at the frustrating technical constraints of the event rather than at the helpful interpreter who was merely trying to assist her through a breakdown in stage communication. Despite the endless theories, frame-by-frame breakdowns, and passionate arguments bouncing across global media networks, the true nature of her inner thoughts during those viral seconds remained entirely shrouded in mystery, as representatives for the actress maintained a characteristic, guarded silence regarding the entire public spectacle. This intense public scrutiny over a brief, ambiguous moment on a French stage is a direct testament to the complex, hyper-visible reality that she constantly inhabits as one of the most talked-about figures in modern Hollywood history. Every single public appearance she makes is treated by the global media as a major cultural event, where her style choices, her interactions, and her emotional transparency are analyzed on an international scale. The fact that the Daily Mail and other major global news outlets immediately reached out to her team for an official comment on a brief, multi-million-view social media video highlights the relentless nature of contemporary celebrity journalism. For a creative individual who has spent decades openly fighting to maintain her personal autonomy and artistic integrity against the crushing weight of public expectations, such viral incidents serve as a constant reminder of the invisible costs of global fame. The Biarritz incident did not occur in a vacuum. It unfolded during a period of immense professional transitions, deeply personal milestones, and profound artistic reflections that provide a vital, fascinating context to her current public mindset. To truly understand the underlying currents of her behavior, her fiercely guarded boundaries, and her emotional relationship with the European film circuit, one must look far beyond a single viral video clip and examine the deeper, incredibly rich tapestry of her recent personal journeys, her upcoming cinematic collaborations, and the profound emotional ghosts that continue to haunt her creative soul. To truly comprehend the layered emotional reality of this modern cinematic icon, one must look closely at the profound personal milestones and artistic ventures that define her life behind the scenes. Her highly anticipated presence at the French festival was not a solitary journey, as she attended the prestigious event alongside her wife, Dylan Meyer, whom she married in an intimate, widely celebrated ceremony in April 2025. This joint public appearance in France holds immense creative significance for the couple, marking a major new chapter in their deeply intertwined personal and professional lives. The 38-year-old Meyer is currently preparing to make her highly anticipated feature directorial debut with an intriguing upcoming motion picture titled The Wrong Girls, which features her wife in a starring role. The acclaimed Twilight alumnus has previously expressed immense enthusiasm for this specific creative endeavor, playfully teasing the project in interviews as a stoner girl comedy that she had been actively writing alongside her partner. In this upcoming cinematic venture, she is set to star alongside the incredibly talented Alia Shawkat, with the dynamic duo portraying a pair of pot-loving best friends who unexpectedly find themselves hopelessly entangled in a chaotic, high-stakes case of mistaken identity. This project represents a beautiful synthesis of her personal happiness and her ongoing commitment to championing unconventional, fiercely independent stories that challenge mainstream Hollywood conventions. Beyond her current marital bliss and exciting future film projects, the actress's deep connection to European soil, particularly the historic landscapes of England and France, carries a remarkably heavy emotional weight that she has openly discussed with the public over the years. Traveling to these specific countries has consistently triggered an intense, almost overwhelming emotional response within her, a vulnerability that traces its roots back to one of the most demanding and transformative acting roles of her entire career. She has previously confessed to major international publications that she feels deeply and profoundly haunted by the enduring spirit of Princess Diana, admitting that the mere thought of the late British royal can leave her in a state of sudden tears at almost any given moment. The actress famously portrayed the late Princess of Wales, who tragically lost her life in a devastating, high-profile car accident in the heart of Paris in August 1997 at the age of 36. In the critically acclaimed 2021 psychological drama film Spencer. This deeply immersive acting experience left an indelible mark on her psyche, creating a lasting psychological connection that resurfaces whenever she finds herself navigating the streets of major European capitals. She openly admitted that she cannot drive around the historic center of London, or Paris for that matter, without intense, uninvited thoughts of the late princess completely invading her mind. Reflecting on the immense love that poured out of the royal and how it still moves her to tears today, revisiting that intense creative period, she recalled initially feeling immense self-doubt, even believing that the visionary director of Spencer, Pablo Larraín, was completely insane for choosing to cast an independent American actress to portray such a uniquely iconic British royal figure. In her initial panic, she actually pleaded with the acclaimed filmmaker to reconsider his decision and cast someone else for the monumental role, but he firmly refused to back down from his artistic vision. She noted that there were massive, seemingly insurmountable distinctions between herself and the real Princess Diana, ranging from their physical stature to the distinct color of their eyes. While the actress possesses natural green eyes, Diana was globally famous for her striking blue eyes that perfectly matched her iconic sapphire engagement ring, a detail that led the actress to half-joke about whether they should simply alter the prop ring to green. During the intense pre-production process, these granular physical anxieties threatened to pull her under, but the director consistently urged her to detach entirely from those superficial worries, emphasizing that the true essence of the performance was about capturing a raw human spirit. The filmmaker possessed an innate confidence in her abilities, noting that he could clearly see a unique, fascinating overlap between the real-world experiences of the global princess and the Hollywood actress in terms of navigating intense public scrutiny. This profound thematic overlap between her cinematic roles and her real life brings the entire conversation back to the viral moment that transpired on the stage in Biarritz, highlighting the eternal struggle of a public figure trying to maintain a sense of self. Whether the brief onstage interaction was a genuine instance of an overzealous individual overstepping personal boundaries, a simple and innocent professional translation necessitated by a chaotic and loud environment, or a moment of technical frustration over a malfunctioning microphone, it perfectly encapsulates the hyper-focused lens through which her entire life is viewed. Every single gesture, look, and movement she makes is instantly magnified by a global audience, transforming ordinary, mundane human occurrences into massive cultural touchstones and digital debates. For an artist who has consistently sought to live her life with absolute authenticity, transparency, and an unwavering commitment to her personal boundaries, navigating this relentless torrent of public speculation remains a constant, ever-evolving challenge. As she continues to embark on exciting new cinematic journeys with her wife, heal from the intense emotional ghosts of her past dramatic performances, and champion independent cinema on the world's biggest stages, she remains an undeniably captivating and fiercely independent force in contemporary culture. The viral incident in France is ultimately just a tiny, fleeting fragment of a much larger, incredibly rich, and beautifully